All right, guys, so welcome back. Today I want to forge two different ideas into one. Now, I don't know if you've heard this or not, but there's an old Stoic saying, out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even be there, 80 are just targets, 9 are the real fighters, and we are lucky to have them, for they make the battle. But the one is a warrior, and he will bring the others back. Let's repeat a little bit of that. Out of 100 men, most are just targets, a few can fight, and maybe one is a true warrior. Whether the quote is ancient or modern isn't the point, the principle is real. So in Numbers, chapters 13 and 14 gives us the Bible's version, in my opinion. I read this earlier today and it kind of hit me. 12 men saw the promised land, 10 came back ruled by fear, 2 came back carrying the warrior spirit of faith. God tells Moses to send 12 leaders, one from each tribe. These are husbands, these are fathers, these are all kinds of strong men. They were sent to spy on the land. Again, they were not weak men. They were chosen men, men with names, men with influence. They enter the land, and what did they find? They found its goods, its riches, it's fruitful, and they bring back plenty of proof. But here's the pivot. There were also fortified cities full of strength, full of giants. They see enemies. But now watch this, because this is where the 99 versus 1 warrior line, I believe, connects and why it resonated immediately when I read it. 10 spies take the same facts and say, we can't, they're stronger. They bred cancerous fear amongst them. Who, on the other hand, Caleb and Joshua, look at the same facts and say, now let's go, we can take it. We have the Lord with us, do not fear. So the same land, the same giants, the same risk, two different spirits. A kingdom warrior is not a man who sees no danger. He's a man who refuses to make danger bigger than his faith and bigger than God. So here's what men need to understand. Fear spreads. Those 10 just didn't get scared. They preached their fear. They spread it like a cancer, and the entire camp caught it. Israel starts crying, grumbling, collapsing emotionally, and then they say something that should make every man's blood run cold. Let us choose a leader and go back to Egypt. Do you see what fear does in instances like this? Fear is paralyzing, and fear will make you do things out of comfort and knowing what maybe something tragic is, but at least you understand what it already is because you're too scared to take that next step and put your faith in God in doing the right thing. Fear doesn't just shake, it tries to reverse destiny. So Egypt, in that instance, is slavery, but it's familiar slavery. Like I said, bondage feels safer in that instance than obedience when men are ruled by fear. That's why cowardice is so dangerous. It doesn't just stop you, it drags others with you. Now bring that line back. Out of 100 men, 99 aren't really warriors, but the warrior, can change the outcome. In numbers, you don't just get one, you actually get two. But the ratio is the same message, and the minority with faith is stronger than the majority with fear. And it gets even more intense. With Joshua and Caleb standing for God's promise, the crowd talks about stoning them. So let that sink in. When men stand in faith, sometimes the enemy isn't outside the camp, it's inside. It's an attack from within. Sometimes a battle isn't against fear, or is against fear inside the camp. A biblical warrior doesn't just fight giants. He fights the infection of fear. He fights that cancer of fear that is coming from within the people that you're surrounded with. He protects the mission when everyone else wants comfort. A biblical warrior protects the mission when everybody else wants comfort. And this is the part that makes it a warning and a call. God judges that moment. Israel wanders into the wilderness, and that fearful generation doesn't enter the land, except for Joshua and Caleb. In other words, the 10 fearful voices buried generations of the future in the desert, where the 2 faithful voices became the seed of many future generations. So men, your fear is never really only about you. Your faith is never only about you. It's your wife, your kids, your brothers, the men watching you, the people that rely on you. Somebody is watching. Somebody is learning what leadership looks like by how you respond when pressure shows up, when times get tough. So what's your promised land right now? Maybe it's not just a place. Maybe it's stepping into a discipline of years of being adrift and burying yourself in your phone, burying yourself in things that just don't really get you anywhere. Maybe it's leading your home instead of hiding, or building a life of order, strength, and obedience under God. Maybe it's answering God's call even when you feel outnumbered. We all have that promised land, and we have to find it, even if it's not a physical place. And what are your giants? What are those things there that you're afraid of, that you've been running from, when you should have faith when you run towards it? Is it addiction to something, regardless of what it is? Do you have rage? I know that there are many times I'm hot-headed. It happens. I have to sit back and reflect and change the way I act. Is it a fear of failure? Is it a fear of rejection? Is it financial chaos? Are you too passive of a man, and that passivity affects you? That is one of your giants, possibly. The question isn't whether giants exist. The question is, who gets the final word? Will you let your fear get the final word, or your God? Because the 10 spies that said we can't and spread that cancer from within the camp were not the same as Joshua and Caleb, who said, if God is with us, we have faith and we can do this. And that is going to be the honor-bound warrior's mindset. So in closing, men, don't be the 99 who watch, critique, and retreat. Don't be the 10 who saw the promised land but led with fear and ran in the other direction. Be the man who stands when it's unpopular. Be the man who says, we're going forward because we have faith that God is with us. Be the Joshua and be the Caleb. Not because you're fearless, but because you're faithful. So if this hits you, please share it with another brother who you believe is staring at giants and has that fear that is keeping them paralyzed from moving forward. And remember, the land is good. Don't let the fear get you. Stand in faith with God. Don't turn your back.